So, welcome everyone. I'm Melissa. I'll be your host for today. And today we have a fun topic. We're unpacking the top SEO mistakes clients make with their websites and how to fix them. And I am with the fixers, Taylor and Matthew. Welcome. Taylor Hamilton. She's one of us from IN2communications. She is all things content strategy, all the things, all the things. She's wonderful and we can't live without her. And Matthew Shonwell, we can't live without you either. I know it says here you're a professor and AI enthusiast. However, there's way more. You're a thought leader in both education and business. You're a business professor at a renowned university and an international keynote speaker. And we're just talking about a trip you're taking to Egypt. So really, really cool. And we love spending time with you. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Hello,
Thanks,
hello.
Melissa.
You guys are so serious. Come on. Hello, hello. We talked about making this fun. Come on, guys. Come on. All right. So here, I'm going to lob something at you. Typically, our clients, and we hear this day in and day out, they're not very confident with respect to their websites and their current SEO. Taylor, Matthew, what are your thoughts about that? And, if someone's starting at zero, what are, three quick things that we can help educate our audience on this?
Great question. Taylor, can I take this one?
Yeah.
So first thing that I say with any business is you got to know where your website fits in your mindset, right? Where does it fit in your mix? If it's important or not, is it the main ingredient or is it the main dish or the main ingredient? The idea is you have to understand what your website is for your business. Another thing too is, do you have the right staff to take care of the supports you need for it? And the last thing is, do you actually care to invest in your website? And it's hard to say that, but it's something where it just takes time and effort. And it's, you never want to underestimate the value and importance of actually doing good work.
Yeah, for sure. Taylor, any comments there?
Yeah, I mean, SEO is such a broad topic, so you need to figure out what you need to start first
Mhm.
and then figure out an action plan from there.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Okay, so why search matters? Taylor, these stats underscore search as the front door to B2B buying. And in dealer land, where we, sometimes dwell or mostly dwell, but all of our clients, what does an SEO aware buyer journey look like from, say, first query on mobile to shortlisting a vendor?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think these stats specifically matter a lot to our audience, because our audience is majority B2B clients. And I know because the B2B industry is just so competitive these days, and people might not think that their audience is searching on mobile, but they are.
Mm,
So these are some really important stats that we need to keep in mind when we're planning an SEO strategy.
okay, great.
That
Matthew,
that mobile one is important.
yeah.
That mobile search is just that just shows you how connected we are to our phones, right? Like just
Mhm.
that's an important piece to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to ask you that, half of searches happen on phones, or
Mhm.
is it even more than half?
Yeah, it's definitely more. I mean, a lot of websites I've run and managed, it's almost 60 to 70% is usually on mobile.
Mhm. So if resources are tight, what one improvement moves the needle fastest, say with content speed or conversion paths, and why?
So one of the big ones for me to think of this is just understanding how fast your website works, right? And that's an
Mhm.
important thing. If you're on mobile phones, you think of the efficiency. You don't have a big screen. You have a small screen to look at, and if it loads slowly, and within loading, typically one of the big things to understand is images. Images are obviously how we understand the context what we're viewing, but it's very easy to upload large images that load very slowly and that impact the whole mobile experience. So images are a big thing to be aware of.
Okay, great. Okay, Taylor, give us the quick evolution from keywords to helpful content to AI overviews. What's the mindset shift that people should have right now?
Yeah, so I think it's really important to keep in mind how search is always evolving.
Mm,
When B2B companies first started coming out with websites and that became more popular, keyword stuffing and putting as many keywords that are relevant as possible onto one page was a very common tactic. But if you were to do that today, you'd get penalized and you would come across as spammy to Google.
mm.
So it's really important to figure out what Google is looking for today, as well as what your audience is looking for today, as well as keeping up with trends like AI search, which is really big in the past few years.
Okay. And Matthew, what old habits still hurt today? So three don'ts you still see in audits.
Well, Taylor was perfect. The idea of keyword stuffing. Like years
Mhm.
ago, it was just the right words to pull in to hopefully hit and so on. And the idea of just using random words that ones that sound right, that's a big, big no-no. And even too, you can do things called with your TXT files, basically having Google know not to crawl a certain page, which is still a no-no. And even so, just understanding that you want good quality content, you don't want to have weak content. So the idea of keyword stuffing, just saying random words to hopefully rank in some way, telling Google to not search parts of your website, which was common in the past, and also the idea of just weak pages. You want to make sure that you have quality things that give people a reason to come to your website, not just randomly to have a website.
The five biggest SEO mistakes MSPs make, or just in general, what do you guys think the biggest SEO mistakes that our clients make, or any client makes for that matter?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes is not trying anything because you don't know
Mm,
where to get started.
fair.
Even small things like posting one blog a week might seem small, but things like that add up over time, and SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. So the
Hmm.
things that you do today will help your website rank years to come.
Yeah,
And I
great.
second that. It's not taking things seriously. Sorry for jumping in. I was just Taylor did a great job answering that. Like just not take it seriously. SEO is a process. I use the word of a fine wine. It
Mm,
takes time, and yes, you can have small gains, and that's where other companies that don't do a good job, like In2communications, just say, "Hey, we can get you to rank well," but it's not just about ranking well. It's about
hmm.
understanding holistically what do we need to service our clients, to take care of them, to keep their attention. That's what a website's for, not just to track and convert and to get clients, but you want to capture their attention well. And SEO is how do we get search engines to say you're valuable enough to give someone their attention? And that's a really important thing that we'll be very aware of that, how it thinks through the customer journey, the buying process, but more importantly, how websites or search engines, AI know to send us clients that is of value to them.
Mm, great. Okay, so mistake number one, ignoring full funnel content. Taylor, what does a full funnel content mix really look like? And, perhaps you could give us two to three examples for awareness, consideration, and decision stages, all three.
Yeah. So oftentimes when I'm auditing a website, I will see that they have service pages on their website, which is
Mm,
great, but that's pretty much it. And sometimes they'll have blogs, sometimes they won't, but they're fairly inconsistent and just a lack of educational content on the website that gets people there in the awareness stage is a huge thing that I think a lot of B2B companies are missing. So, in the awareness stage, you want to educate people, and this will bring the most amount of traffic to your website. And this is often done through blogs, industry guides, and like how-to articles that will answer a lot of questions. And then from there, you move to the consideration stage. So oftentimes people are aware of what you do, aware of their problems, but they're not ready to actually make a decision and convert and become a client. So in those blogs and educational pieces of content, you can include some sort of call to action for like a white paper or buyer's guide that will help guide them down and to the decision stage.
okay, great. Matthew, thoughts on this?
Well, Taylor did a good job explaining the DNA of what's happening, right? The idea of
Hmm.
like, how do we think of a funnel and how do we actually work people through that process, right? One of the
Hmm.
big things, as Taylor explained, is that companies miss the point of their website, meaning where does it fit in that process for a customer? So if we think of dealers here, understanding why would someone come to your website? Is it just that they're learning about the task or learning about what you're doing? Or are they actually considering what they want to do? Or are they actually there to actually make a decision? We have to really understand how to get customers from A to B down that sequence of decisions and have your website support every customer within that. Now, depending on how you approach it, you want to say, well, is this page converting or is this page supporting or is this FAQ working? And that's where we think through things like data analytics or free tools online just to really check and assess what we're doing.
All right, mistake number two, poor website structure and health. So, Matthew, what are the top three structural fixes you prioritize? Think navigation depth, internal links, and page templates to reduce
Yeah.
spams on mobile or,
Oh, I love it. So that's
yeah.
really important to understand. So you think of When I first look at a website, you think of what are you looking at? Meaning, is it visually appealing? Now, the visuals are not critical to success, but the idea of you said the idea of navigation, having navigation that's functional, meaning no more than 3 clicks. That's the
Mm,
gold standard. Because if someone's searching, they'll usually do 1 click, then maybe 2 clicks. But if they have to go 3 clicks or four deep to actually get content, you're going to lose them, right?
mm,
And we go through this. We want to make sure our navigation is efficient. The next thing too is just understanding how we keep people on the website. So making sure that your website is linking to other pieces. So Google Search Console is a great tool for this. It tells you which pages are most linked on your website.
mm,
Typically, your footer, permitting there are links on there, will be the most common ones that get linked. But the idea is that we don't want clients to get lost and remove and leave our website. We want to keep them on it. So keeping their attention, but also driving them through actual call to actions to other pieces of content in the idea that Taylor mentioned before, actual valuable content in that buyer's journey. And the last thing is, if we think of mobile as the majority or a lot of the time people are spending on our phones, the way a client interacts in mobile is going to be different than a desktop. So we got
mm.
to make sure that typically we design for desktops, which is great. But if mobile is the majority of our focal point, we have to be mindful of how are people managing that huge screen on a small screen in their phone. Is it
Mhm.
scrolling right? Is it user friendly? Is it one that is the main content is a number of swipes away, right? So being understanding that mobile templates are just as important as the desktop version.
Okay. So which core like web vitals, if you would, if we did a vital check, should our audience focus on first, and what practical steps would shave seconds off load time, say, with respect to speed?
Yeah. So, Taylor, I'm jumping in. I love the talk. I'm sorry.
I love
My
your
brain is like,
enthusiasm.
how do I support, right? Because Taylor's so good, like being a
I'm
director of
coming to
content
Taylor
strategy.
next, so you wait.
She's so good. I just love the support and I care for your audience tremendously, right? So when we think through this, the idea of core vitals, one of the key things I look at is just time and efficiency, right? Is how
Mm,
does the website UI is one thing, meaning the user experience, and a part of the user experience is load time. And I said this before, but like how fast does your website load? And
mm,
also too, the idea of just how long are people spending on a page? That's going to
mhm,
be different from a mobile device, a screen versus a mobile device. But knowing how long people are on pages and also how fast are they loading? Because if they're a great website that looks amazing but loads really slowly, you're going to lose people's attention. We're in a very quick, efficient attention industry and time where
mhm.
if you are taking too long, you're going to lose that attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So Taylor, on the UX side and content side, what belongs on a high performance, page above the fold, as we always say, so mobile, visitors get it in 5 seconds or less. They understand what you do.
So I think before you start looking into making changes on your website on a mobile version, you should look on your phone to see what your website actually looks like, because
Mhm,
so often we have clients that come to us that have built good looking websites on a computer. But when you go on your phone, the buttons are so squishy, the text is really hard to read, the menus are kind of all over the place. So I
mhm.
think that's a good point, good place to start. And then also, you want your landing pages to tell a story. So in the header, it's really important to make what the page is about very easy and accessible to understand. And then it draws people further down the page. So they get all of the information that you want, and then they'll do the call to action that is on the page.
Yeah, absolutely.
Melissa, can I add one more thing, Melissa, to this?
No.
So I have to. This is perfect. So
Yes, yes, you can.
So to this point, one of the activities I did with clients is I would tell my clients, okay, one of your family and friends, you want to give 10 people different tasks and to tell
Yeah.
them their experience. The reason why is people that don't know the website per se, but say, hey,
Hmm.
I want you to go do this, because then they will give you their true, hopefully honest experience about what the experience is and how it works. If it works or doesn't work at all. Was it user friendly? Was it hard to use? So just getting your family and friends to be a part of that. Hopefully people that don't know it, but getting them to actually test run, like Taylor's saying, viewing it on the phone versus the
Yes.
desktop, saying, hey, I need you to do this. Can you go do this?
Hmm.
And to have them actually just document that experience. Was it easy? Was it hard? Was it frustrating? Was it user friendly or not? Did you like it? Like it's just the practical side of things.
Yeah, no, I love that ad. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Because everybody has a different journey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. And so many people assume, like you said, Taylor, that the computer looks like the mobile experience.
Mhm.
And then they're like,
Responsive.
whoa, wait a sec, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. So great. Okay, mistake number 3, ignoring local SEO. So Taylor, I'm going to you first. For Google Business Profile, you have to sit still, Matthew. What are the must-do optimizations, and what's a simple review request playbook that actually gets responses?
So I think a lot of the time with B2B companies, they don't really optimize their Google My Business profile, which is a
Mm,
huge opportunity. You'll see a lot of the times where people have maybe 5 reviews and, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but 5 reviews aren't really going to sway a client's decision when they're making a choice. So optimizing your Google My Business profile, including up-to-date pictures, information, your business hours, any keywords that you can include in your business description is really important, as well as getting reviews from your clients and then responding to those reviews. So if your sales team is having a conversation with somebody and they're really, really happy, ask them for a Google review. If your service techs are out on a job and they were able to fix it really efficiently, get them to ask for a Google review.
yeah, and I love that you said and respond to them because it's
Yes.
That's
key.
that is the missing piece.
Is it
It's that
ever?
human. It is such a missing piece. You have to
Mhm.
respond because,
Yeah.
like, sorry, Taylor, so good because, like, you think of a review that's someone saying, "Hey, I vouch for this," right? But
Yes.
then the other human side is, well, why did they vouch for it? Because they valued and cared for it. Like, should you respond to it?
Yes.
Mhm.
And the flip side of that, if someone is unhappy with some service,
Yes,
you when I see a review where someone was unhappy and the person responded accordingly,
hmm
that's authentic. I can't speak, but that's
absolutely.
authentic, right? You go, oh yeah, okay, well, and they responded and they corrected the problem. So
Mhm.
because no one's perfect.
So
Mhm.
Clearly, I
true
couldn't even
true
say that
story
word.
within yeah, true story within this concept. So we went to a
Yeah.
dealership. I had some problems with my key fob, and the dealership I didn't realize I went there like 20 minutes after they closed. Long story short, I go to the service counter, nobody's there, and the guy on the counter who actually was selling cars, he's like, "Well, do you know what? Just how can I help?" Gave amazing customer feedback, customer support, gets me my dongle fixed for my car, my key fob, and he says, you know what, if you can give me a review, that would be amazing. But like amazing customer service, gave a review,
Yes.
they had feedback back and forth, and it seems so simple, but if your customers matter, why would you not take a few minutes to put this in your process, right?
Absolutely. And the fact that the sales rep asked for it, and that's what
Yeah.
coach your
Like
salespeople to get out there and ask for it when they've done something great, or
if
the
you don't
customer.
ask, you won't get it.
You got it.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. So, Matthew, maintain NAP consistency. So, how
Yes.
do you audit NAP consistency across listings, and where does schema markup help with local relevance, et cetera?
100%. So
Goodness.
the key things to keep this simple to understand what to do is when we think
Mhm,
of NAP, it's understanding, well, what's the name, the idea of the profile that we have, right? The
mhm,
information that people have on us, our address, our name, or phone number. And one of the key things I did many times with customers is I would take literally, here's a chart. Here's
mhm,
a chart. Here's my information. What are the key directories that we're in? What key
mhm,
directories are we not in? What are places that can vote for us to make sure we are consistent and claim those things? For
mhm,
example, your Google business listing, you have to claim it. Different things for even yellow pages. There's still access online. It's weird
mhm,
to even say, but you think of not Kelly Blue Book, but the idea of Craigslist. Like there are different places you can add into that do be a part of your business, right? So just making sure you have time. And one of the key things I said at the beginning was you have staff that can take time to do this because it takes time to go through to make sure things are consistent. It's not
mhm.
hard work, but it's important work because all of these are trust markers that SEO, search engines see, and AI see that say, hey, actually, though, this is a credible place. They have done this. They're consistent. They're trustworthy, right? So,
Yeah, definitely. Who wants to touch on build local backlinks?
Yeah, so
Taylor,
I can touch on this.
Hmm.
So backlinks are really important because they are a link on someone else's website that goes over to your website. So this shows search engines and AI that your website is a good place to go to for information. So getting local backlinks from like charities or chamber sites in your area can be helpful from an SEO perspective and from a local perspective.
Awesome. All right. So, mistake number four, not tracking what matters. So, Matthew, too many teams still lack GA4 or haven't linked Search Console. What's the minimal viable setup you want in place?
For
Talk to that.
anything.
Yeah, for
So
anything.
this is just it irks me so much that if you put time and effort into a website, why would you not want to understand? Like, and you think of any business process, the assessing the value is at the very end, but it's so important. So
Mhm,
minimum viable product. The simplest thing is I would make sure I have a Google Analytics, a GA4 account that just tracks, meaning you may not know what it's doing, but it's
mhm,
just tracking. Because when you do have a customer or a sales rep that knows what they're doing, you have the data. The next thing is Google Search Console. And so many people don't know what this is. It's free, it's on Google, it's not hard. You have to log in, you create an account, it's very simple, but it gives you, and a lot of people don't know this, or at least this tool in my toolbox, but the idea of not just knowing what people are searching, what's working, the traffic, but you can actually inspect pages. So one of the
mhm,
key tricks I did for every single website I've built and developed and worked for SEO is I make sure that if I make changes to a page, I always go and I inspect that page through Google. What it tells Google to do is, hey, index this page, go to this specific page. That's a really viable thing because all of the billions of pages out there, making sure that Google knows, hey, can you at least track this at one point and go on to this? Because if you did good structure and you have your good backlinks, that then tells Google, hey, go on this page and oh, there are other pages connected, and you get on the map of Google, not in a literal map, but on the online world of things.
mhm.
And simple things, just set up a GA account, figure out how to do it. If you can't use it, use ChatGPT, explain how to do it. It's so simple. And the same thing for Google Search Console, get them set up. And then once they're tracking, they automatically track, learn how to digest the information.
Okay. So, Matthew, when traffic isn't converting, how do you
Yes,
triage? Is it intent, page speed, UX, or, something else?
100%.
And what would be your step by step there?
So my first thinking is always, what's the page or the area that's not converting? And I would say,
Mm,
well, okay, let's have someone go through that, just a test audience, say, hey, can you convert? If they can literally actually can convert, the question then is, as Taylor was saying, where is that person in that funnel? Is that
mm,
page at the wrong piece of the funnel? Did we
mm,
direct them there? Is the intent correct?
mhm,
Intent to me is really important because if we don't understand the intent of the user, we're missing the whole point of how to communicate with them on that page, or why would they even want to give us their attention and
mhm.
convert into something else. So for me, it's always reassessing what pages are there, what's happening, what is the intent of that page, and then start to process through, does that actually cover our actual value proposition? Does that cover what we're trying to do, or is it just not enough words, or did we not do enough conversion of attendance or attention to that person, but before they actually convert into the funnel or what they're actually doing? So think of intent. Intent is the most important thing first in my argument.
Okay. So, Taylor, what do you review weekly versus monthly? So, content decisions are data led, but not data paralyzed.
Yeah, so I think it's important to remember that with SEO, it's a long-term gain.
Mm,
So sometimes you may not see any results of the work that you're doing right away. So I would track things almost on a monthly to quarterly basis based on how big of projects you're doing on your website. So if you're, just starting to post blogs, you may see results from that quicker than if you were to post some service pages and like more in-depth pages on your website because of the different stages that they are in the funnel.
So, last but not least, mistake number five, not optimizing for AI search. So, search results are evolving, more no click outcomes in AI overview. So, Taylor, what content patterns earn inclusion?
Yeah, so I think it's important to note that in the chart in the slide there, it
Hmm.
says 45% of people who are using Google don't do anything after they make a search. And this number is growing because of things like Google AI overviews that you can see in the other screenshot there. So it's important to make sure that you're creating content for both search engines, AI, and your audience. So things like best cybersecurity company, you could, try to get your company on lists like that.
Mm.
So when people are searching that, you will come up in the AI overviews.
Okay, great. Matthew,
Yeah,
you're
I got a
sitting so
thought.
quiet.
I'm just processing, thinking, because I was like, as search evolves, should we
Mm,
be upset if we get less traffic? And I sort of want to
mm,
position that saying, did we deserve the traffic originally? And just a different thought. And what I mean by that is, if you think of as search evolves, and if we're losing traffic, did we really earn that traffic well? Meaning, if you
mm,
build great content, as Taylor said, you're going to get the right customers at the right time to your website. We know that. But if you're losing certain pieces of search because of AI overviews, the question then is, was our website not answering that question well enough? Or was that the wrong customer we're targeting right now in the funnel? That
mm,
should be an interesting thing to look at, because if you're losing traffic, then it's like, well, where does our website fit in the conversion? Is it even a piece of that? How do we position our website in our actual marketing mix? When we think of AI search, if we think of the simplicity of what we're getting, it's giving a summary typically. It's not always a conversion, it's just
mm,
information that is a part of that customer journey. It doesn't remove the importance to have great quality content. It doesn't remove the importance to have great links. It doesn't remove the importance to have amazing navigation. I think that AI search, or just search in general, is a piece of the puzzle, and it needs to be looked at, but looked at really strategically, saying, well, why did we not get that? Why did
mm.
we not get that customer? And is that something we lost, or is it that we just didn't answer that question, so AI didn't look at our web page to give them the answer from us? If we want to get traffic, we have to understand, did we earn the traffic? And
Yeah,
if we want to get traffic, where does that traffic fit in their mind for if they convert or not? And does the website even establish to do that? So a bit deeper thoughts, right? But
yeah. No,
like
I
the
like that.
question might be more in line, like, how do we get more traffic? And well, that's a bad question, because we don't want more traffic. We want the right traffic.
I mean, I think the question that our clients would ask would be something along the lines of, how do I rank on AI? I know that's a question that my clients are asking me like every single day.
Hmm.
Well, I would say I would first dive into a client. I would say, well, you do the searches that you think customers are going to ask and see if those searches have an AI response. If they don't have
Mhm.
an AI response, then you don't want to rank in that.
Yeah.
Because if it's just topical awareness, that's one thing that you can create great content, and that comes from AI, from sources, right? So
Mhm.
I think that's a short, not you, but in general, I think the customer is saying, I want to rank. It's like, well, it's a short-sighted perspective. You're saying it's like, oh, I want to kick the farthest, but do you want to kick consistently? Like, what do you mean? Like, we want to be able to be consistent versus just kicking far, or ranking. We want to be consistent with offering and converting clients. Like, I'd rather lose 99% of my traffic, but convert more on
Yes,
Mhm.
my website than
yes.
get 10x more and convert less. So then the question should be saying, well, what kind of customers, what questions show up in the AI search, and does our website cover that? And if it doesn't, what kind of customers are we getting, and are we still converting or not?
AI is so new and it's changing every single day. So
Mm,
you don't want to do a complete 180 on your strategy because we don't know what's going to be working tomorrow. As an
yes.
example, I know previously Google was heavily crawling Reddit, and I think a week or two ago, they reduced how much information they're pulling from Reddit because those are opinions and not actual facts. So I think, the companies that spent hours and hours and hours publishing content on Reddit, that might not be doing anything for them now.
Hmm. And
That's
I think what
valid.
you said earlier too, Taylor, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So
Exactly.
don't just go 180 on it all. Yeah, one step in front of the other. So here we have your next steps, get a clear picture. And this is what we do as a company before we get started to set up an action plan and next steps with our clients.
So like things to do in general, for me, I would always make sure like Google Search Console and Google Analytics, they track this stuff, meaning it's just
Yeah.
going and knowing where to look, right?
Hmm.
What pages are indexed, what ones are not working. If you've got internal links that are broken, we want to know what they are, and also external links that we're connected to that we're vouching for and also vouching for us. So, and you have to have a person willing to do this, right? Like, it's
Hmm.
not complex work. A lot of times it's just doing work. You might be able to use AI for pieces of this in the future, but just you want to make sure that you understand that your website's functioning well.
Yeah, so I'll just say that these are the steps that we take when we perform an SEO audit before we are getting started with any work. And I think it's really important to start with the health of your website. So,
Hmm.
like Matthew was saying, getting all the analytics, tracking on your website, and fixing all of the issues, and then going into more of a content strategy and including competitor insights in there as well.
Great. Nice ad. All right. Okay, this was a client of ours that had a very pretty site, but they didn't get any organic traffic or leads. So, it had the whole visual appeal, but no results. Taylor, maybe you can speak to this a little bit.
Yeah, so a lot of the time when people have a visually appealing website, they think that's kind of all that they need to get leads. But although they had a pretty website, they didn't have any SEO strategy surrounding it. So they didn't have, metadata, alt text, or a lot of the pages on the website that would support SEO. So what we did is we kept, the visual aspect of the website and just added to it. So we did complete competitor research, keyword research, and a site structure analysis to figure out what's working and what we can change. And there were a couple issues fixing broken links, but nothing major. But then we did rewrite a lot of the service pages and blogs that they had to include information that we discovered in the site structure and keyword analysis. And that helped us add content to all of the pages that people are actually interested in reading more about and learning more about, as well as an ongoing monthly SEO and content strategy. So they're continuously publishing and optimizing their content.
What a
Great.
great system.
Mm-hmm.
Like hearing what you did, like that's like, it's just think of it as a mechanic. The first bit is just diagnosing and then
Mm-hmm.
saying, what do we actually fix this that we need to fix? Then obviously, how do we maintain this for the future? That's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so this example here was a complete website launch. So they had a site that was about 5+ years old, not optimized at all. Maybe you can walk us through this one as well, Taylor.
Yeah, so with this client, we did a current state analysis. Again, what's working, what's not working, why aren't their website visitors converting, and why are they not getting a ton of organic traffic compared to some of their competitors? And then we also did an external analysis. So we optimized their social media channels. So anything outside of your website that has information about your company, you can add more keywords to, which will then support your SEO strategy. And then again, competitor research, keyword research, and site structure. So a lot of the time when there is an older website, it'll be slower, it'll be clunky. So even if the content on the website was great, if it's slow, it will not be served up in Google searches, unfortunately. So that's why with this client, we did a complete overhaul with their website. And then again, ongoing monthly SEO and a content strategy.
Okay, awesome. All right. So Q&A, there are some great questions. So I'm going to lob them at you and you guys, no, I'm going to pick who's answering what. Matthew, sit still. No, I'm teasing you. Taylor, how should clients prioritize service pages versus blogs versus location pages?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think it's really important that all of the pages kind of support and work together.
Mm-hmm.
So first, I would do the service pages and make sure those all have the information that your clients are looking for. Service pages are generally, early mid funnel. And then when your service pages are done, then go on and create blog articles that will help lead to those pages. So within the blog article, you want to link to the service pages, or you can have videos that talk about it and kind of lead people into more of the mid-funnel content.
Great.
Amazing.
Matthew, what's the best way to reuse webinars as SEO assets? So chapters, transcripts, blog series, etc. Do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, well, best is subjective, but it comes down to what the game plan of the website is, right? Meaning, what is the
Mm-hmm.
type of content that you are supporting your audience with, that they can expect or you're hoping to get into. But the beauty of having artificial intelligence at our fingertips now is it doesn't offload tasks, but we can quite easily spin up quality content in a blog, quality content in posts. We can create media pieces for other SEO channels, whether it's social media. So you think of the value of a conversation like this. Once it exists, we have a transcript, we have the text, we have all the topics. We can actually create a whole content plan with, or that comes from this actual conversation of a webinar. So there's a lot of things you can do. It's just knowing how you want to use it, who is it for, and then obviously where it's going to go on your website, if it does go on your website at all.
Okay, great. So, Matthew, are AI written drafts safe to use if a human edits for accuracy and adds, first party insights to it?
Safe to use is subjective, meaning I would
Mm.
always say, like there was most recently a company that was a consulting company, not like this, but more of a government one that used AI, and there's no qualms with the use of AI, but it comes down
Mhm.
to what's the impact and intent of whatever you're producing. So specifically AI written drafts, I have no problems if it's authentically true, the tone to what the company is and what you're doing.
Mhm.
But if the person who made it has no idea as to what they're looking at, then how can that represent the company? So there still has to be human oversight and judgment in anything that's created. But if you know what you're doing, you can do so much and really amplify the skill set of your team. And back to AI written drafts, you should be able to use that, permitting it's not fully AI generated, where you have like no idea
Mm.
what's going on. So it's just making sure that you can stamp of approval at the end of it versus saying, it sounds good. It's like, no, this makes
Let's
sense. Like
go
this
with it.
represents us
Yes.
versus we need this. Like that's the horrible, the worst thing to look at. So
Okay. So, Matthew, what are ethical ways to earn local backlinks without link schemes?
yeah, so that's a great question. So if you think of the essence of a backlink, it's someone voting for your website, typically,
Mm.
right? It's a vote. So
Mhm.
if you think of that, how can people trust you? So if I was a local business, I would say, well, who would actually find value in sending customers to us or at least connecting to us and then branch out from there. So if I'm a
Mhm.
dealer, I'd say, well, what other businesses are we connected with that are similar in our topics or with our content or similar in customers and say, hey, can we connect back and forth? Can we do a collaboration in some way, link to each other, as long as there is a reciprocal value back and forth? We're not there to steal information, but we're there to actually support each other and have those valuable backlinks. But Taylor is more in line with this world than me. I argue that she is expert in this, but it's really think if a backlink is a vote, you got to make sure that how would people actually vote for us or at least give us credit, and how would they want to do that voluntarily versus actually us coercing them in some way. And it could be through events, different activities,
Mm.
collaborations, things of that nature.
Okay, great. Taylor, as we wrap up the questions, what is one thing that clients could start today that could immediately make a difference for them?
I think if you were just starting your SEO strategy today, then I would focus on fixing anything that is broken on your website right now. So I would crawl your website with Google Search Console or I love SEMrush to
Mm.
identify if you have any broken links, broken images, missing metadata, or anything like that on your website, and fix the issues before going into a content strategy.
Okay, great. All
Screaming Frog
right.
is another good one too. Screaming Frog
Mhm.
is a good tool.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Screaming frog scares me. Teasing.
Scares me too sometimes.
Oh, yeah. All right. So thanks, Matthew and Taylor. This was excellent. And thank you for attending today. A few key takeaways. SEO is strategic, not just technical keywords and backlinks. Create content for the full customer journey, not just the sale. Track performance consistently. And I heard you guys say that several times to identify what works. Optimize for AI, local search, and emerging platforms. Fix technical issues. So you left on that, Taylor, before investing in content. And yeah, so those are just some 5 things that you can do and think about as we end today. There's also a survey as you exit. We'd love it if you could fill that out and help us as we think through other ones we want to bring you in our webinar series. We truly appreciate your time, Matthew and Taylor, and I know that you would love to help our audience to help identify some gaps. So we do offer an SEO audit that starts with that technical health checkup, a competitor keyword analysis, and ends with a prioritized action plan. So we will give you a free one potentially. If you complete the survey, we will be doing a drawing and we'll reach out to you with who is awarded that SEO audit. However, we'd love to hear from you if you want some help. So thanks again. Thank you for your insights, Taylor and Matthew, and thank you for attending. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a
Thank
good day,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Bye.